Welcome to the demo of the IBM Research Self and Peer Guidance app in Maximo Lightning. In this peer guidance scenario, James is a field technician using the app to get some remote expert help from Mike about a water flow problem. James starts by selecting the work execution icon in Maximo, which displays the open work orders. He then selects the No Water Flow work order from the list. To get some peer guidance for this task, James taps the Advise Action button at the top left of the screen to open the Advice Options window. James selects Mike as his expert for this guidance session. He enters a short description of the problem and then connects with Mike through the app. James now makes his way to the water main to investigate the problem. He uses a smartphone to transmit images to Mike. Using the camera in the application, James seemingly records a short video of the water main that needs to be repaired. In actuality, he records and sends multiple still frames of the scene. This process greatly increases both the throughput and user experience of the app. This section of the demo shows how Mike can easily annotate images to point out the controls and sensors in the field. Here, Mike sees an incoming call on his phone from James and accepts. He then enters the gallery, where you can see the still images of the frames recorded by James. Mike can choose any image, annotate it, and send it back to James with instructions to guide the field technician through the process. In this image, for example, Mike identifies and annotates the master tap and attaches the label to the center of the object. The expert can also use the annotation bank, which is displayed here. After selecting an image, Mike can add an arrow, insert text, or select from a predefined set of actions. When adding text, he can even record it using his device's microphone if he wants. After annotating the necessary objects and moving those text blocks to the correct location on the images, Mike then sends the augmented images back to James. He can add more annotations to images as the session progresses for any required actions. James now uses the annotations in the peer guidance system to understand what he needs to do. He uses the app screen to view the scene, and the augmented annotations are displayed. Here, Mike tells James to first close the master tap. Next, he wants him to check the water pressure. Following that, Mike instructs James to check the flow meter. Finally, Mike guides James to open the cover. Once displayed, each of these annotations remain attached to the objects they are associated with, no matter how James moves the device. Once the session is over, the information from the peer expert remains associated with this work order on Maximo. The Visual Operation Guidance Platform, which serves as the backbone of the Self and Peer Guidance app, saves the data for future reference and review. The same annotations from the peer guidance session can be used to generate content for independent self-guidance, formulated into a series of steps that field technicians can navigate by themselves. Here we see another field technician using the app to scan equipment until the water pipes are visually recognized. Once the equipment is recognized by the app, the field technician begins receiving screen-based self-guidance instruction for completing the work, based on annotations from a previous peer guidance session. By tapping Next Step or Previous Step, the technician can see the augmented annotations associated with the various objects. As in the peer guidance session, the annotations remain attached to the objects they are associated with, no matter how the technician moves the device. In the scenario displayed here, the technician returned to the water pipes filmed in the peer guidance session. But the Self and Peer Guidance app can also extrapolate that information and apply it to other similar setups. In summary, the Self and Peer Guidance app can be extremely beneficial for technicians and maintenance operations in a variety of industries because of its capacity to create self-guidance processes from previous peer guidance sessions for multiple, similar complex environments.